Psalm 48 says, "Great is the Lord, and most worthy of praise. In the city of our God, his holy mountain." In the King James Version it says, "in the mountain of his holiness." And then verse 2 it says, "It is beautiful in its loftiness." In the King James Version it says, "beautiful for persuasion." The joy of the whole earth, like the utmost heights of Saffron, is Mount Zion, the city of the great King. In the King James Version it says, "Great is the Lord and most worthy of praise. In the city of our God, in the mountain of his holiness, beautiful for persuasion, is Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great King." And so that's when I learned how to use a dictionary, a Bible dictionary, a concordance, and a topical chain Bible, because as I was reading it, I was saying, what does this really mean? Where is Mount Zion? On the sides of the north, the city of the great King. And then I realized that Mount Zion in Israel, Mount Zion in Jerusalem, is a replica of Mount Zion in heaven. The city of the great King, beautiful for persuasion in the sides of the north. Because our God is fond of replicas. He's fond of making replicas. He's fond of making miniatures. That was the revelation that I received when I first visited Israel. And it was confirmed in my third trip. And I said, now I know why God led Abraham to this land, to the land of Canaan. Because you would ask, why lead him to Canaan? Why go to Canaan, which is the land of milk and honey? I mean, he was living in Ur of the Chaldees, and that's the country today that has the most oil. And so God told him to move out of there and go to this land of milk and honey, the land of Canaan. And I realized why. Because Canaan, or Israel, the state of Israel, is a miniature of the world. I'd like to say it again so that you'll understand, so that you'll be convinced that you heard what I said. Israel, the state of Israel, is a miniature of the world. So in other words, God has sent them to Canaan because that was the land, that was the miniature of the world that God created. See, in the whole of Israel, Israel is a very small place. It's a very small country. One of the countries that the Philippines is bigger than. Okay? So anyway, it's a small country, and yet in that country, in that area, you will enjoy and you will experience 4 seasons. In other words, there is a place, Bethlehem and Jerusalem have 4 seasons. So they have winter, they have summer, they have autumn, and they have spring. Okay? Just like in the United States, that's like in China, 4 seasons, and that is why in December, during the winter time, it snows in Bethlehem, it snows in Jerusalem, and that's where the theologians who say that Jesus could not have been born on December 25 are basing their their belief, or what they are positing. Because they said it's impossible for the shepherds to be out in the fields during the winter because it snows in Jerusalem and in Bethlehem. Now when you go down to Galilee, they have tropical weather. But it's a cooler tropical weather just like here in the Philippines. And when you go to the Negev desert, you have desert weather and desert climate. So in that small area, In fact, you can, they will tell you that you can cross a street going into Jerusalem, but where you're standing is tropical weather. But across the street, this is in the winter, so it's still warm, it's okay where you're standing, but when you cross, it's wintry cold, or it's very cold. So this is a very unusual country, and God knows that, and He precisely sent Abraham to that place because He wanted to show it off as a miniature and a replica of His wonderful creation of the earth. Whatever you find in any other place, in any country, any area of the world, in any continent, you will have it in Israel. Especially when they followed what the Bible says, and they irrigated the Negev desert from underground. And so they grow tulips which are more beautiful than the tulips from Holland. They have banana plantations. You go through a certain highway there and you will see a place which will remind you of Switzerland with all those trees. And so God also, sent them there because that is where Mount Zion is, and God wanted them to see and have an idea of what Mount Zion in God's heaven looks like. Beautiful for persuasion, the joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great King.